Death Valley is the hottest place in America, close to Palm Springs actually, and the driest. Nothing grows there. Nothing grows there because it doesn't rain. About 1 inch because it doesn't rain. About 1 inch of rain falls on Death Valley a year. In the winter of 2004, it rained. 7 inches of rain fell on Death Valley. And in the spring of 2005, there was a phenomenon. The whole floor of Death Valley was carpeted in flowers. You can Google this. Look at Death Valley spring 2005. People came from all across the country to see this phenomenon they thought was impossible. Death Valley was alive. What it proved, of course, is that Death Valley isn't dead. Death Valley had become a pasture temporarily. Then, of course, it stopped raining and the sun beat down and it all fell beneath the surface again. But it showed Death Valley isn't dead. It's dormant. Right beneath the surface are these seeds of possibility, waiting for the right conditions to come along. And if the conditions are right, life is inevitable. That's how it is with organic systems. It's the same way with human beings. We're organic creatures. I have seen it time and again in my career. Schools in areas which have become oases of achievement and hope and possibility because they had visionary head teachers and gifted teachers who saw their job was to personalize learning and make it relevant to each individual and to fill them up with hope and a sense of ambition. I've seen brilliant schools in good areas go under because head teachers or teachers have come in who didn't get it and thought their job was to deliver the core standards, not to teach children. The standards help, but they're subsidiary to the real purpose of education. I believe we have an opportunity now to fertilize the whole of education by the ambitious and creative use of technologies where the kids also teach us, because there are things at the Dalai Lama that we don't know that they do. And I think if we celebrate our creativity along with their creativity, we'll see a new sort of harvest starting to evolve. You know, there was a wonderful quote from Anais Nin, the poet. It's a tributary. It was a little poem called Risk. She talked about her own creative development as an organic process, and she said, there came a point when the risk of remaining tight in a bud was greater than the risk it took to blossom. And I think that's right. I think all the efforts that too often the policymakers and others put in to constraining the talents of our children and suppressing them, inadvertently very often, take more time, more effort, more resources than the resource it would take to cultivate these talents and give us this new possibility, this new harvest of talent. And I think it's an historic mission that we face. That I talk a lot about a revolution. There was a quote from Benjamin Franklin. He said, there are three sorts of people: people who are immovable, people who are movable, and people who move. That's right. There are people in the system who don't get it, they don't want to get it. Don't worry about them. There are people who do. Work with them. And then there are people who move. And I think that's what Q is trying to mobilize. And you know, if enough people move, that's a movement. And if the movement's strong enough, that's a revolution. And that's what we need. Thank you.